Hi Charlie.
Hey Beach.
So then, are you going to tell us about your brand new long-termer?
The R6 has arrived at last.
You are very pleased about this, aren't you?
Matt, I've been waiting for this all year, and I had my only ride of this was at Spotty, which was in obviously Portimao, and it came 10th in the test, but I mean it was an R6 against various elite sports bikes, etc. So it was a bit out of its league, to be fair, but it was the most ridden bike because it's just awesome. It's so much fun. So I've been on and on and on and on and on at Yamaha, and yeah, here it is. It's finally arrived.
And we've now got to. Oh, there's only one small problem, isn't there, Charlie? And that is this bike is
blue. It's blue. Now I wanted the black and white one, but because it's just beautiful. But that said, oh God, who's going to complain? It's a beautiful looking thing.
Now then, obviously, this is going to form a new series of blogs on the long-term bike. Now, there are going to be a lot more than your Street Triple, but there are reasons for that which we will address in the Street Triple finale blog, which will be coming soon. Okay. What's your kind of first impressions on riding this on the road?
Brilliant.
Okay.
There you go. In a word,
okay.
It's brilliant.
What was your first, slightly more detailed impressions of riding this on the road?
All right, you want deep. Overall, it delivers. It's a phenomenal package. I mean, I had the R6 in 2015, and to give you some sort of idea of how much I love these bikes, these super sport bikes, is in 2015 I did 15,000 miles in a year on that R6 before I threw it down the road on the Fossway. It just broke my heart. It broke my heart.
I'm going to be honest with you, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I thought you might. Yeah, yeah, I haven't. But it's learning once again to ride a super sport bike. Having been on the Triumph, which is obviously a lot more sit up, your positioning is obviously a lot more tucked in. It's a lot more aggressive, and you ride a lot more aggressively. Now, people you'll have seen the launch reports because this has been out for just under a year now. But the launch reports will say, "Oh, it's underpowered, and it's this, and it's lacking in various areas." That throttle will get you into a lot of trouble. Honestly, it really will. It is the difference between that and that, which is the difference between 30 mile an hour and 100 mile an hour. So it does deliver. It delivers beautifully. There are problems with it, but the great thing about having a bike from Yamaha and a bike such as this is that they will allow you to change various different elements within the bike that doesn't have to be from the Yamaha catalogue. So it's actually a real world bike.
Yeah.
And for me, that's really, really exciting because I've already lined a few things up to do to it to alleviate various different problems.
Okay. Well, before we get to the bits you've alluded to, I can't talk. Easy for me to say. Yeah, I know. So I mean, obviously, you know what kind of rider you are, right? Okay. Yeah. And you tend to prefer the super sport bikes to the larger capacity machines. Yeah. Okay, that's completely fair enough. Now we know for a fact this model is actually down on power and crucially torque, bearing in mind that R6s have never had any torque in the first place. On the previous, we know it's down on the previous bike, but you're not finding any problems just kind of biffing about at slow speeds?
No, I'm not, but you've got to consider the roads as well. So I'm not really hammering it because it's December, it's greasy. And in the end, I've only just got it, so I don't want it to end up like its predecessor in 2015 down the road. Especially before I've protected the bike properly with various elements of crash protection from different companies.
Okay, well let's jump on to what you're going to do so we can give everyone a rough idea. So let's start with that then, crash protection.
Well, crash protection, first of all, I'll be putting on the Yamaha official crash protection because it's built for the bike, etc. And it will you know, it fits in with the styling of the bike.
Okay.
But I won't just stick with that, but let's give the Yamaha stuff a go.
Okay. Who else did you have in mind?
Well, you've got lots of various different companies, R&G, and GB Racing, and you know, there's different companies that do different things. So I'd like to try quite a lot, so that I can look at the styling of the bike pretty much.
Okay, now one thing that we came across in Portugal, in fact it didn't take very long at all for it to go wrong, and one of the only things I could actually think about this bike as being wrong, inverted commas, is the rear shock. Now it's very bouncy. It overheated in the summer heat within about 2 or 3 laps in Portugal. Somewhere, I'll try and find the footage, if I can't stick it in this, I'm sorry, but we've got footage of it pogoing along. Now, and that's not only, and Mr. Mossy, who picked the bike up for us, first thing he said was, "Why, man, that's a really soft rear shock on there, it's a bit bouncy." Are you finding the same on the road? Because obviously now we're on the road, especially around here, with big bumps and everything, are you finding it is quite bouncy?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is very soft. But it's OE. And the thing is that what Yamaha have got to do, or what every manufacturer's got to do, is to put a shock in a bike without really knowing who's going to ride it, how heavy they are, how they're going to ride the bike.
Yeah.
Is it going to be 2 up? Is it going to be me being slender? Is it you being a bit chubby? Who's it going to be that's riding the bike? So a shock that goes into an OE bike is going to be good enough, not necessarily good.
That's a fair comment, actually. And we do know from fiddling with the standard adjustment on the rear shock that it doesn't actually do a huge amount, although the front end is brilliant. I mean, we've all said that. The front end is brilliant. Okay, so do you have any plans for the suspension?
Yes, so this will be it's the suspension that I'm going to do first, because there are big wide plans, right? This has already run on the dyno.
Oh, okay.
We got 103 brake out of it.
Right, that's kind of 5, 6, 7 down on the last bike, but we knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I was up at JHS Racing with James, and he put my standard map up against a map of an R6 that he's already been working on, which has a new pipe, has a new filter, and obviously he's been playing with the ECU, etc.
Yeah.
And it makes 12 brake throughout the curve.
Wow.
That's just enormous. So it's things that can be done, but I don't want to do that until I've been on track.
Did you video your dyno graph?
I did.
Okay, well let's just have a quick look at that now.
So what we're looking at, chap?
So today we're pulling 103.5 horsepower, 53 newton meters of torque. So I think that's about the same as the last one we did for Sports Bike of the Year, was it?
That's right, yeah.
Just a little compare. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. That one was 103 and 54 newton meters of torque. So the same, so they're coming out consistent. But
Well, that's quite a surprise, really, when you consider that the different atmospheric pressures, etc., that we've got in here that we've just discovered with running the Triumph.
yeah, what was our conditions on that? Well, when we ran the one for I think for sports bike, temperature was pretty much exactly the same, 1 degree in it, but there was actually more humidity for the one back earlier in the year. There was 44% humidity, and now there's only 33.
All right, okay.
So, yeah, the other one had slightly more miles on it. It did, 1,100 miles. So they're coming out consistent at the factory, which is what you like to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
how about the curve, mate?
How about the curve?
How smooth?
It's what they are. They take off. You get to like 11 grand, then they just take off, don't they?
Yeah.
They're sort of like it gets to 11 grand. There's like a slight hesitation, as you can see in the curve. And then they just take off. They jump.
Yeah.
Like 20 horsepower, 2,000 RPM, and then pull real hard. Like 16,000 RPM red line. It's proper 600 screamer. Riding around town because of the new laws, they are quite lean. We found on the fuel and the mapping of them, they're not brilliantly smooth, but once you get rolling on them, you get up above sort of 12,000 RPM on them, which is where you've got to be on a 600 for it to really go. It goes really well.
So is that what you were expecting, basically, from running these?
Yeah, it makes bang on what the other one we've ran for you, and it's comparable to the other couple that we've done as well.
Now you're working one at the moment, aren't you? And you've gained what?
We've gained a fair amount.
You put some massive gains in, haven't you?
An air filter on it, and we put a full Rockfitch system, and we've mapped it.
What filter?
MWR filter.
All right. Okay.
Race filter in it.
Yeah.
So that we've got that up to 114 horsepower for a stock bike on our dyno.
Yeah.
Which that's really good. So in the mid-range areas, 12 horsepower we've gained, and 8.25, and then that follows through most of the rev range as well.
Right.
So 12 horsepower, which is quite a lot. That's a hell of a lot on a 600.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah, we've gained 10% more power by putting the exhaust on it, an air filter and a map. So.
But it's not just the exhaust, is it? You've got to map it. You've got
to map it to get the best from it. To get the best from it, you've got to map it.
Right.
Because they go very lean in some places.
But that's a £2,000 system you've got on it,
that's a full evolution of Rockfitch.
Right. Okay.
But that shows that these really can go, and I think Super Stock and Super Sport in the UK and world shows it. These are the best. I think they're the best 600s out there.
Brilliant. Well, it's the only new one.
Yeah, it's the only new one. So Yamaha's doing something right, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think so.
And it looks pretty cool as well, I think.
So it just goes to show 600s aren't dead, aren't they?
No, they're not dead.
But we need to do some work on this to get it up to where we want to do it. So we will be back on the JHS dyno with a few choice modifications.
Nice words.
Well, I like to wax lyrical. Any questions, Martin?
No.
Got a man in Ducati leathers at the back.
Rather slick.
Nice one. All right, chap.
Right.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Well, there we go. So there's this bike on the dyno, very similar to results to the one that we had for Sports Bike of the Year. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And as you said, there are options. I mean, funnily enough, exhaust options. I just so happen to have one potential option just here.
Okay, I haven't seen this as yet.
That's a little stubby, isn't it, from Pipeworks? Isn't it just? Especially compared to the rather large can there. Although I'm imagining that something like that will only be one of several you'll be trying out along the way.
Well, I would have thought so. I mean, in the end, the main plan is for a full system. But as I was alluding to prior to the dyno video, is that I'm not really going to do anything major like that until I've been on track. Once I've been on track, then I'll have something to judge it by.
Yeah.
Because just going out on the greasy roads and so forth, I mean, you know, it would be great to try some different cans and look at it on the dyno, etc. But it's real world stuff that I'm interested in.
Well, speaking of which, are you going to be looking to change the tyres? Because this bike comes on the deep sigh Dunlop D214s. Now, the Dunlop D214 is a designation for an OE tyre from Dunlop, i.e. that is a tyre that a manufacturer has specifically requested it perform in certain areas, blah blah blah, which Dunlop then go and create. So you get D214s on several bikes and they're all completely different. However, we know that whilst it's kind of okay for splish splashing about, there are probably more, shall we say, winter friendly tyres out there. Are you considering changing the tyres as well?
I think potentially, yeah, I'm going to have to. But I haven't made any sort of choices specifically on what to look into yet to put on it, because I mean this is pretty fresh from first service. I've done 400 or 500 miles on it, and they're gentle miles so far.
Yeah.
So yes, tyres, yes, filters, yes, various things that are going to happen to the bike. But at the moment, key thing for me is sort out the ride in regard to a shock. The protection, as I've said, and then really map it out on exactly what I'm going to do as we move across the winter months, because I'm committed to riding this bike throughout the winter to the extent where I've actually sent my company car back. I haven't got a car anymore.
Good man.
But that's how tempting it is once you've got a car and a bike outside and it's freezing. What are you going to get into? So I've got full commitment to the R6 for this year. And yeah, there's just loads to be done.
So there might just be a couple of niceties, like perhaps some heated grips of some description popping on for winter.
If they're nice, yeah.
Or some wraparounds, perhaps.
Wraparounds to work. Or,
they could work.
Or just go with the heated gloves.
I see you've already started to ruin it with a hideous sat-nav mount.
Yeah, that's because I've got to find Nitron tomorrow.
Right. Oops. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. No, listen. I've put a Nitron on a Yamaha before, and it went really well. It was a quality product. And again, it's funny. You know, some people struggle to look out. Understandably, struggle to look outside of Olin's, and other larger name brands, shall we say. However, I think if that's the course you've decided on for the rear shock, I think you're onto a winner.
I think so. Well, I had a Nitron many years ago on the back of a Z750, and I was really happy with that. Fact is that it's a new exhaust that they've just It's a new shock that they've just devised, and they're also working on cartridges as well.
Oh wow!
Now the front end doesn't,
it's pretty epic.
Really need them, so it's pretty good. But that said, they're there to be tried and to talk about. So we'll see how we.
Fantastic. So you're going to be looking at all aspects then, really, I suppose, over the term of your ownership, or in another inverted commas there, ownership. Although, knowing you'll probably want to keep this when the time's up. Wouldn't be the first time, would it?
I'm not doing all this work for nothing. No, the key thing is I want this for a 12-month period, and I want to do some real-world stuff to it.
Okay.
And I look after my bikes like they are my bikes, not that they're test bikes. So actually, I like to be able to do what I would do to them, which is what I'm going to do with this. And yeah, it should, it's just going to be a hell of a journey, really. Yeah,
I think it is. So, and if anyone has anything they think, if anyone has one of these bikes, Although I'm actually quite sure some of the stuff you're likely to fit will probably fit on the old R6 as well, given that actually they're very, very similar, bar the addition of traction control and slightly different front end, and obviously the looks and the panels. But mechanically, they might actually have a few bits that would still fit. Okay, but if anyone,
I did have one fucking hell moment.
go on then.
And this, it sounds like such a small thing, but in weather like this, it's major. The lights are phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, you stick a high beam on, and it's just like the world comes to you. It's so bright, and it's really specific. It's like a spotlight right in front, exactly where you need it. And I've never ridden one in the dark before, so when I popped that on, it was like, ooh,
well,
how nice.
Well,
but that's, you know, I mean, that's just a, as I say, a fucking hell moment.
well, listen, mate. That's actually quite a pertinent thing, because the one thing that drives me mad about a lot of bikes, even the modern ones, is the lights are still naff. I mean, they're not great. You'd expect them to be brilliant on everything, and they're just not. So knowing that this at least has very good nighttime vision
Made
is...
a bonzer. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Okay then. Right, so I suppose you're going to check in next with your Nitron, spoiler alert, Nitron stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's it's going up tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be able to check in shortly, and I'll obviously have to put a few more miles on it to let you know what I think.
Okay, right, well, we shall look forward to your next one a lot.
Okay.